Deceiving is in the nature of words, whose tryst never stops at making people believe in their abundance, wherein it fails to put enough weight onto the mind that cannot engulf in its vastness, yet the heart feels content in its abeyance, as beautiful and still as the sunset of the Europe. We wake up to the facts and we sleep to the quotes. We hold ourselves to the moments foretold. Our bliss is our doing, and our joy is our own to make. And yet the life led holds value in the words, whose worth we search and search, while we receive concurrence and sway in the conscience of our four walls, where we withdraw to feel human again. Philosophy has always been a cornerstone of human development. Everything we see is a product of philosophy, in some or the other way. From the royal courts, whose opulence we gauge today, from the words left behind in the memoirs and the writings of those days, to the life of common people, whose narrations were from the perspectives of the travelers that walked miles to reach this place. Philosophy is the most simple yet the most elegant thing, I find. It is like the vanilla amongst the ice creams, which never has to compete. It complements with everything and it complements everything. Everyone has heard the word philosophy, but what philosophy actually is? It is a combination of two Greek words, those of philo, which means love, and sophia means wisdom. So it translates to love for wisdom. What does wisdom entail though? Today, we have systemic and systematic categorization of all the disciplines, and their knowledge is codified to be disseminated on a scaled structure. But, back in the ancient days, which literally go back to 2 millennia before the present, life was quite different then. The society was not that thoroughly structured as we see today. There was either a hereditary kingship or a small noble council that chose a king from amongst them. This system was also prevalent in the tribes, wherein they chose a person to lead through different ways. The king or nobles had an army. They also had a society filled with traders, merchants, artisans, etc. Most of this structure was hereditary, and it is believed that the occupations passed on through generations within the same family. So, there was not much change in the overall aspirations as such. But, strategy for winning wars and the small improvements in the technology was always appreciated by the upper echelons. Now, as one sifts through the world in any era or age, one will surely find a few eccentric people that love to gain something more. Their life is a bit unpalatable for them. However hard they may try to accept it for what it is. So, their search for something more leads them to places, physically and spiritually. To be able to see the newness in everything is also an experience of a desire of holding it for the first time and letting it all go for the first time. They could see the same thing that everyone saw but differently. They could see that either sun is moving around the earth or the earth is moving around the sun. They could see things that others could not see or choose to ignore. From there, the love was born. That love for wisdom was also a love for freedom. Most philosophers loved freedom, if you closely look at their works of words. Their thoughts dwell on to freedom as it's their last breath. What life is from the perspective of an animal. What the view is from the perspective of a bird. How birds can even fly. Why they fly. They had questions. Some questions are way too interesting to let go, so they went on the quest to find answers. The answers they found became the wisdom for generations to come. Others built on these ideas. And thus, we have compendium of knowledge of every subject. Apple falling to the ground is quite a common phenomenon, but how many dwell on it enough to see the wisdom behind its fall? Most saw the thunder, but how many saw the wisdom behind it? Many went on to the mountains, but how many saw the curvature formed around the horizon? If you go into the list, then it becomes endless, from Pythagoras, to the wisdom of zero to the telescope and so forth. Then there came, the most fabled of all, the ones who carried stories to the people near and far. They traveled with the commoners and traders and went on journeys with a book and a pen, writing under the decks of the crowded boats, on the horse-drawn carriages, under the trees. Every word carried with itself a rhyme that held a story of its own. They showcased their talents in the taverns and the gatherings of the people. From the folklores of the foreign invaders, to the unfathomable divine interventions, they carried everything with them. The stories they carried with them had an element of hope. They carried with them stories of infallibility. But what is a good story without suspense? How can an ending have a great value without element of hardships? They unknowingly yet quite knowingly carried an element of void too. Their stories are famous to this day, if one looks closely at the village life of every region on the earth. Their names might have been forgotten, but their works still carry that spark within and burning the present souls in their light. Philosophy is not so distant, it is present within our reach. We breathe philosophy in the day-to-day quotes we carry with us. Some told by our parents to teach us things. Some told by the elders to make us realize our mistakes. One of the quotes of my native language, I will present it here in English. Far away mountains seem so plain. It simply means, by looking at things from a distance will not give you an idea of the ruggedness it carries with itself. Elaborating the above idea, the mountains we see from a distance as we approach them in our car, makes us feel, it is a piece of cake. We will reach summit in no time. But as we approach it, the wrong notion goes away, it no more looks so plain and plausible, the trees become visible and soon the canopy engulfs the road in the vastness of never-ending darkness. That's the direct meaning of it. What about indirect references? Well, the same quote can be applied to the unrealistic representation of a distant society on the media in comparison with one where we reside. Same quote can be applied to any kind of comparison as such. That is the beauty of quotes, but that is actually the beauty of philosophy. Philosophy makes us feel relatable. We look at different societies and feel so out of touch and out of place with many things. But at the rock bottom of it all, we are humans, with same base needs and somewhere same common problems. We segregate ourselves in our mind itself, and when someone we generally don't associate with feels so relatable through simple quotes or some common habits, suddenly it astonishes us. That's where philosophy brings us together. It makes indirect references in a direct way without demeaning anyone, yet opening the minds to a world where all are born out of same misery and will perish in its ever-evolving distinctions. Philosophy makes us human. We have evolved too much in our own segregations that at times, we forget where we evolved from. We forgot the common ground. Our aspirations made us reach to certain places from where to bridge the gap has become a persistent irritant. Yet, an indirect bridge that joins us all is quite an appreciated feel on its own. Wisdom, I find, is an unpaved road with a visibly long string leading to somewhere or nowhere, yet it leads. The one that tries to hold that string needs to pave the path as one proceeds to understand where it leads to. A man was too frustrated with the job, so he thought of quitting it for good. As he was walking down the street, he met an old professor. He thought of telling him about his resolution, so the professor calmly talked to him about this problem. The professor told him, "So, you must be having other job offers in hand, so choose a good one from among them." Without saying anything else, the old professor walked away. The next time they met again, the man told him that he didn't have any job offers back then, but that small statement made him think and he understood what he had to do. That's how philosophy works. It meets you halfway, and if we're able to catch up from there, then it becomes a tryst, memorable to the mind. It changes the outlook of the mind. It changes us from within. Philosophy first touches the mind, and then it romanticizes with the heart. Have you ever wondered why most old people love quotes or philosophy? Just think about it for a second. Why they love to speak in riddles like the above example. Why they always try to lead somewhere indirectly. Philosophy is much like parenthood. If you give everything on a plate, everything loses its value. If you make someone work for it a bit, its appreciation increases. We are here for reasons we will never know, but we are here, and to give it meaning means giving value to the life itself. We are here to give value. So, why not give it with an essence of some twists and turns and make fables of our own? Philosophy is a starter, a main course and a dessert in itself. To a romanticizing heart, it is a penultimate goal, whose wishful wayward walks needs a pen and a book to reach that ultimate self of finding oneself in the vastness of abyss of hope and void, and everything in between.